Hey everyone, Brian, igotkings here, talking about the games I beat for the year of our Lord 2025. I haven't done one of these in a while. I used to do them every 3 months or so, but I'm trying this now for the end of the year. We'll get started because we got a lot of games to go through. So, first of all, on January 1st, 2025, I started it. I finished it January 4th. I did Maximo versus the Army of Zin on PS2. I loved the first Maximo game on PS2, and this one I actually think I liked parts of it better and parts of it not as good. I didn't like the enemy design or level design as much, or I should say level setting, but I liked the more easy, more accessible. It was more easier than the other one. But I do think I liked the first Maximo game on PS2 better. Up next, we have Bionic Commando on the Xbox 360. I started this on January 5th. I beat it on January 6th. I played it on a 360, and it's also available on like PC and probably PS3. This is like a very 3D Bionic Commando. It was okay. I mean, the swinging took a while to get used to, but it's a long time to get used to. I don't have any game capture for these ones that I'm showing the screenshots on Moby Games, so I apologize for that. But I do have a video playthrough of the other games I'm going through. Bionic Commando on 360, it was a very 2000s game. It was kind of fun, but nothing I'd probably want to replay anytime soon. And next up, I finally beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! With a 29-2 record on January 9th, 2025. Good way to start the year. I started it January 7th. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, a game I always wanted to beat. And here we are finally beating it. This is the year of Tyson Punch-Out! For me. I beat this game and another Punch-Out! Game coming up. I really hunkered down, played through Punch-Out! In the beginning of the year. I recorded my playthrough here of me finally being Tyson. The hard thing about Tyson is surviving the first minute 30. Just like if you were really fighting Tyson, I'd take it. You'd have to survive the haymakers that he throws. And if you get hit at all once, you get knocked down. After I beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, I followed it up on January 9th. Just the next day, I did a full playthrough of Punch-Out! Starring Mr. Dream on the NES. I was able to get through this one after practicing Punch-Out! In about 41 minutes or so. Basically the same game as Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, except you play as Mr. Dream. You fight Mr. Dream. I think Punch-Out!, I've always loved it as a kid. After beating it, I still love it, and it ranks up there still as one of the best NES games ever made. I'd recommend to anybody who hasn't played Punch-Out!, play it. There's not really a lot of games like it. It's like a puzzle game, a boxing game, a sports game, and an action game all rolled into one. And it's super fun, super addictive, with just characters that are just awesome. Super Macho Man, just look at him there. And you have Mr. Dream at the end instead of Mike Tyson. There you go. But basically, it's just a color palette swap of Mike Tyson. This was the cartridge that was released in 91, 90 or something like that, along with Metroid and Zelda. But yeah, that's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!. Get to the next, and after that, we beat a Famicom game. This is Yum Penguin Mogatari. So I do not have this game. I just played it on my analog pocket on the dock. Very fun game. You play as a penguin who has to lose weight. His girlfriend dumps him and goes for another guy, the guy at the top hat there, because you got too fat. So the whole thing is you have to lose weight to get to the end and save her. And if you're not fat enough, you have to go back to the beginning and play again, or you get a bad ending. So the way you get fat is enemies here, they throw like apples and food at you, and if you eat them, you get fatter, and you have to eat diet like drinks and pills to shrink down. So you want to avoid the food, get the diet drinks and pills. It's a platformer you do basically avoid, which is kind of cool. Konami 1991, fun game. I see why it didn't come out here, because it's very wouldn't fly here. Like there's a lot of fat jokes and stuff that's kind of interesting. Like weird. I could see why it didn't come out here. But that's Yumi Penguin Mogataro. Next up, Super Mario Brothers 2 on the NES is one of my favorite games ever. So I wanted to play the Famicom version. This is Yumi Koju Doki Doki Panic. So I hope I said that right. But it's basically the Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan until they got Super Mario Brothers USA. It's basically the same thing, except it's a little worse. The waterfall effect is terrible in it. It hurts your eyes. There's no run button. The characters are just reskins of Mario, Luigi, Toad, and the Princess, but you see them here. And you have to beat the game 4 times to get the real ending. So I actually did that. I went through and beat the game 4 times from start to beginning. Still a fun game. But I will say that I like I'm glad we got the Super Mario Brothers 2 we got. So yeah, that was a beat on January 20. I started January 24th, and I beat that January 28th. Next up, we have the Flintstones Surprise at Dinosaur Peak. This was a Taito game released very late in the NES library. As soon as it comes up here, very late in the NES library. I do not have this game. I played it on my EverDrive N8. I started it February 1st and beat it February 1st. I played through Rescue of Dino and Hoppy for the NES. I do have that game, and it's fun. I liked it. It's nothing great. This one improves. I like it better. It's pretty much like that one, except you can play as Barney, as you see here. Barney can grab ropes and stuff and jump up, which you have to do. And he also has a ranged weapon. So basically, it's basically like Adventures of Dino Hoppy, only you play as Barney, and you can switch between it. It's a fun game. It has a good difficulty until the very end, where it gets pretty hard. You see, basically, you still hit stuff with your club. Cool enemy design, like that monkey there. This ghost level, I remember that. That's kind of tricky. This level right here is very hard. So you can see you can kind of grab and pull yourself up. You also collect letters at the bottom. They give you a 1-up, I believe. But the final level is pretty tough in this game. All the way through is a pretty decent game. I like it better, like I said, than Dino and Hoppy. It's still not great. Definitely not worth the price that it's going for. That's for sure. So next up, for the Super Nintendo. I played on Castlevania Dracula X. I got the best ending. No, it continues. This was February 1st, 2025, and I also finished it February 1st. So I did Dino and Hoppy and this on the same day. I like this game quite a bit. It's the only Castlevania game I do not have a cartridge for, so I played it on my Analog Pocket. So this is basically a reskin of Rondo of Blood for the TurboGrafx CD, but it's different. So it's almost like a different game. It gets a bad rap because it's not exactly like Rondo, but it's still a fun game, and I quite like it quite a bit. A lot of challenge compared to the other Castlevanias. I mean, Castlevanias are always challenging. This one is challenging in a different way in that some of the stage layouts are kind of very vertically oriented with stuff knocking you back. Enemy placement is even more evil than Castlevania 3. And the last Dracula fight is very hard. The music is great. I love the soundtrack to this game. The graphics are amazing. I think they're great. Look at the fire in this background. This is like Castlevania 2's town here you're going through on fire. There's an aqueduct. And yeah, this is where the platforming starts to get really tough when you're in these levels here with the Medusa heads. There's a lot of vertical jumping stairs and Medusa heads constantly. So I had a tricky trouble with that a lot. Just a very good game. I'm a fan of this game. And I'm glad that both of them exist. You can play Rondo. You can like Rondo and like this game too. You don't have to say, "Oh, Rondo's great, but Castlevania Dracula X sucks." No, it doesn't suck. It's just different. I think people don't like it because it's not an exact port. I don't know why we didn't get an exact port. The Super Nintendo probably could have did it. What the Turbo CD did, maybe with a little downgrade. But the music actually, I think, is very good for what they did. Maybe they would have had to have a bigger cartridge. Who knows? But there are ultimate paths in this one. There's only two like girls to save. There's Maria and I forget the other girl's lady's name. You've saved, but you Maria and Annette, I think. You save those, and you get basically just a different ending screen, and that's about it. Um, yeah, the Dracula fight, very hard. That's where most of my playthrough goes through the Dracula fight, kind of doing that. But yeah, very fun game. Next up on January, oh, it's February 1st. I also did this one. I started at February 1st, beat it February 2nd. That is da 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 Shadowgate for the NES, a game I beat as a kid, but playing it again, I forgot everything, most of it, everything about it. So it took me quite a while, like most of the first day to get everything. So I figured everything out on this game, except for one thing, which I'm trying to remember what it was. I know it was one thing I had to look up. So I think I did a pretty good job. But yeah, it's a fun game. I really do like this game quite a bit. The music is like, as soon as I heard it, I remembered, it took me back to being a kid and playing this game and being creeped out, because it's a very creepy game. The music is excellent. It's a point and click game on the NES. I like Deja Vu, Uninvited. I like these games. This was the last one I had to beat. Well, I beat it as a kid, but this is the last one I had to beat as an adult, to beat all three of them on the NES. Yeah, fun game. You do have torches that run out, but the torches are tied not to time but to actions. So if you take actions, as soon as you take an action, it takes time away from your torch. So you can stand there all day and they won't go out. Oh, I think it was this part here I had to look it up, how to get across there to get that item I need. Across that bridge there. But yeah, Shadowgate's a great game. Pretty proud of myself for leading just one hint to beat it. Great game. If you haven't played Shadowgate, give it a shot. Next up for the Famicom, was in another Castlevania mood, I played Akamoju Densetsu. For the Famicom, this is basically Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, that we got. This is the Japanese version. I played it on the Analog Pocket. I started it February 3rd and beat it February 3rd. Basically, Castlevania 3, with some exceptions, it's easier. The enemies don't take as much health away, I believe. And Grant is completely different. He can throw a like an axe or something. He can throw a knife or some projectile all the time. And the little goblin, the little monkey men, henchbacks look different. And that's basically it. The soundtrack's completely different. Some people say it's better. I think it's good, but I still like the NES one quite a bit. Actually better, because I grew up with that one. That's Castlevania 3 on the Famicom. Next up, another childhood game of mine that I like. And I played The Adventures of Bayou Billy, or as it's known, I played the Mad City version. This is Mad City, released for the Famicom. I don't have that, but I played it on my EverDrive. I started it February 8th, and I beat it February 8th. Mad City is the Famicom version of Adventure of Bayou Billy. Adventure of Bayou Billy is a Konami game I got as a kid, and I quite liked it. Hard, frustrating game, but once you get the hang of it, you can beat it. And I quite enjoy it, even though I wouldn't say it's a good game, but it's a game I had and I like quite a bit. But it's still frustrating. It's still a hard game to beat. Mad City is a better game in every way, just about. The fighting is much more fair. It doesn't take a lot of hits to beat the enemies. And it's easier overall. And the driving stages are much more easier, too. The Zapper stages you still have. Music's still the same. Great music. That's one of the highlights of this game. The soundtrack's amazing. I always liked the setting of this game, setting in New Orleans. I always had a thing for New Orleans as a kid in Louisiana. I always wanted to go there. And, it was the 80s, it was the 80s with you had Crocodile Dundee, and that isn't New Orleans. It's kind of a nod to that. Yeah, Mad City, much better game. I wish they wouldn't have toyed with Bayou Billy so much and made it so freaking hard over here, because I think if we would have got this version, I think it would have been more of a Konami classic. Next up is a game I got Oh well, way back in 2001 when I had my PlayStation 1. When I first got my PlayStation 1, around when I got my no, it wouldn't have been first. It was one of the PlayStation 1 games I got when I remember getting it. I was hanging out with a friend then from high school. We met up and we went to like a GameStop or something, or a EB Games or whatever. And I got this game. That's Medal of Honor Underground for the PlayStation. I beat it on easy. I started February 9th and I beat it February 13th. I don't think I ever beat this game. I got pretty far. Yeah, Medal of Honor. I love World War II shooters. I love the first Call of Duty. I love Allied Assault, Medal of Honor, Allied Assault. I love the first Medal of Honor. That's the thing that I liked about those first person shooters. The setting of World War II is something I really liked. And I liked the first Call of Duty quite a bit. I like Call of Duty 2. I like Call of Duty United Offensive. I used to play that online. And it all started with Medal of Honor. And this is the sequel to Medal of Honor. Fun game. I still think it plays pretty well. It does have a dual stick configuration, so it plays kind of modern. Next up, we have a first in a series I never played before, and that's Onimusha 2: A Samurai's Destiny. I beat this on normal. I started February 16th and beat it February 23rd. You see, we're getting up to the more longer games here. Interesting game. Controls almost like gives me a Resident Evil kind of look and control wise feel, but it's like a ancient Japanese like tale. I beat it in February. It does work though. I will say that the fighting, although it still has like tanky controls, it does work with all the different moves you can get. And it was quite a challenge for me to beat it, but I did play through it. I did enjoy it. There is a remake coming out, so I'm not going to play this time soon. So I no longer own this one. I did sell it. If I want to play it again, I probably won't. I'll probably play the other Omniusha games, but if I do want to play 2, there is the remake coming out I can play, or just pick it up. It's probably not that cheap. Oh boy, here we go to one. We started the year with Punch Out, and we're still going on. And March 3rd, 2025, I started Super Punch Outs. And I beat this on March 8th, 2025, and I did a no-loss playthrough. That basically I can get knocked down, but I don't lose. So I finished with a whatever an O record. Yeah, Super Punch Out is one I'm not as familiar with as Mike Tyson's Punch Out, so I basically had to go through this one from scratch and learn every fighter, learn the best way to beat them. Yeah, I love this game. So the first time I beat it with a 16-2 record, 2 losses. This time on here on my capture, I beat it with no losses. So yeah, Super Punch Out is basically Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but it plays more like the arcade Punch Out. You have a super meter that fills up at the bottom there. You see that S there, and as you hit enemies without getting hit, that builds up. And when you it flashes like that, you can hit the A button, and if you hit A just regularly, you'll do a super punches to the body. If you hit up and A, you'll do like real fast, you'll do like super hooks. And you can hold A and hit up or down, and you'll do a super powerful body blow or an uppercut. And the key is to, especially for the last boss, the Bruisers, you have to beat him fast. And he does moves that will get rid of one of your hands, so you can't use it. And to beat him fast, you basically have to knock him down with super moves. And when he gets back up, he has less health. But if you knock him down without super moves, then he still has that health. He regens a lot of health. And your time is very important. So it took me a long time to figure out how to beat Nick and Rick, or the last boss. I don't know if it's Nick Bruiser or Rick Bruiser with super moves and without getting hit and keeping that super meter up. And it took me quite a bit. This game's great. Just the characters are so well animated. Just so, here's Mask Muscle here. You see, they each have very almost like disqualification moves where this guy spits on you. The Hoi Kwai uses his cane. It's just like a great game. There's a clown here you fight that throws balls at you. Here's Super Macho Man. This one was pretty hard because he does different exercise programs. You got to memorize what pattern they are. This guy here is the guy with the cane, Hoi Koi. He like uses a cane on you. Just a super game. And there's Nick Bruiser, is it? I don't know who this. And then the last. No, that's the last guy. So they're Nick and Brick. I will say the last bosses, Nick and Rick Bruiser, are kind of clones of each other, and I wish they were like a little bit better than that. But yeah, that's Super Punch Out. Fantastic game. Yeah. If you haven't played it and you only played Mike Tyson's Punch Out, yeah, give Super a chance. And it was cool because I didn't know much about it, so I had to start from the beginning. Yeah. Next up on. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Next up on March 10th, 2025, I started Earthworm Jim for the Sega Genesis. And on March 14th, 2025, after many attempts, many playthroughs, many runs, as they say, I finally beat it. I'm not familiar with Earthworm Jim other than playing it like on an emulator or a ROM of it. Or when I got the game, I played it a little bit because I've had this cartridge for a while. This here playthrough I'm showing is on the Genesis. This is my first attempt, the recorded playthrough of beating the game after many attempts. Earthworm Jim's a very... It's those shiny games like Aladdin in this game and Boogerman where the animation of the character is overly animated, so there's a delay to your actions. It takes a while to get used to, but that enables it to look very beautiful, and this game looks very beautiful. I would say the stage layout is very... like almost like huge levels where you don't know where to go. I think the stage layout could be better, especially on this first stage, but it does get a little bit better. I will say this is the Genesis playthrough I'm playing on right here, you see. Here, I did beat the Super Nintendo version on February 15th, and the Super Nintendo version is basically like the Genesis version, except it's a little zoomed in. And the music's like that Super Nintendo sound instead of the Genesis sound. Earthworm Jim's more of a experience than I would say. It's a good game, but it's not like a game that you typically think of when you think of platforming perfection. I wouldn't say it controls very well. I would say it controls deliberately in how it is, but you have to get used to how the game wants you to play it. Each level is kind of a different, almost like a Battletoads thing where they have a different thing going on, a different theme that you got to figure out what they want you to do. And that is like when you first play, you're like, where do I go? What do I have to do? And then once you get used to it, you kind of get used to it, and it kind of grows on you. Here's the stage, and in between you have these stages where you got to fight this crow to get to the end. And if you get the enough balls here. Energy balls, you get like a continue. Yeah, each stage is kind of cool. This is the furthest I ever got before down the tubes where you got to race this. Take this little like, I think it's like a little ship in the water, and it breaks. You got to go fast, but you got to go slow enough to not hit the walls. If this cracks, then you die. It took me so long to get this. This is where I stopped playing for a while. And I figured, you know what, I want to beat this game. So I finally did it. After this, that's not a problem, which is still took me a while. And where you basically bungee jumping down and you had to hit this snot thing against the wall. And then the game gets more standard platformy, which wasn't as bad as those last two levels. Earthworm Jim is a game that I would say leaves it looks a good first impression, but it doesn't. Like the graphics, it looks great. It's like, I want to like this game, but it's like, what the heck do I do? Why is it like this? Why is the control like this? Where do I go? But if you stick with it, you'll like get a hang of it. And I think I have appreciation for it. I like it. It's just not one of my favorite games, but I'm glad I finished it. And yeah, that's Earthworm Jim 2. I do want to show the last boss. Right here is Queen Butts. What's her butt or something? I forget what her name is. Yeah, it's like this big like slug with her butt sticking down. You gotta shoot it, and you have these little platforms to stay on. It's an interesting boss, but yeah, that's Earthworm Jim 2. Next up, we stuck with the Genesis in another kind of shiny kind. It's not shiny developed, but another kind of. Well, here's my SNES playthrough of Earthworm Jim. I won't show that because, well, you saw it on the Genesis. It's basically the same. Well, I'll show a little bit of it. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is Earthworm Jim 2. So no, I'm not getting ahead of myself. The next game on March 22nd, I started. March 23rd, I beat, was Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure. Kind of controls like Earthworm Jim in that overly animated way. I like this game. I beat it on the Super Nintendo before. I played the Genesis version, and I like the Genesis better. It's just, you can see more of it. It sounds a little bit better. Basically, you play as this guy, and you have a cape that and you're like a hero that farts and throws boogers at people, and people don't like that, but I kind of like the game. The first stages are kind of like the longest, and it does get better. I think it leaves a bad first impression. And obviously, if you don't like farts and boogers and poop and stuff like that, you're not going to like it. But it's a decent game. I wouldn't say it's great, but I don't know. It gave me a nice feeling of, after playing Earthworm Jim, those kind of platformers like that. It is like that. Not great, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. And next up, for the Super Nintendo game, this is a game I never played before, ever. Oh, wait, we gotta go. Earthworm Jim 2. After Boogerman. Oh, wait, no, before Boogerman, on March 16th, I beat Earthworm Jim 2. Yeah, and basically, this one, I don't like it as much as the first one. It's a more, there's not a lot of straight platforming levels in it compared to the other ones. And there's these mini games in between where you have to bounce puppies off of like a pillow. And it's that's very hard to do. Like this, it looks very cool though. It looks very good. Let me try to find the puppy part. Yeah, here, see how you gotta, between the levels, you gotta like bounce these puppies. This crow that you raced in the first one in the asteroid part, you got to bounce these puppies up into like that funnel, and you can only miss so many times, and you'll die. And it's very, I don't like it, but I did get through it. And you do this like 4 or 5 times instead of the asteroid levels on Earthworm Jim. You do this puppy thing. There's a quiz show. I forgot about the quiz show. I don't know if this is like. I don't like quiz shows in games. Banjo did one too. I don't like those, but yeah, it's just stuff like that. I don't like it as much. It's not as platformy. And this level I did not like either, where you got to push this bomb up to the end to blow up this barrier part. And there's stuff, if it hits the bomb, you got to go back to the beginning and take it. And this part took me forever to get. I almost have to go back, clean the screen out, and go forward and do it. Because of stages like this, and here's more puppy tossing. Because of stages like this, I don't like Earthworm Jim 1 as much as, or Earthworm Jim 2 as much as Earthworm Jim 1. But I'm glad I beat it. I haven't played the Genesis version yet. There's some cool looking scenery, like this part where you're like on a grill. And there's a part where you're like in an office with paper everywhere. And these filing cabinets stink. It took me forever to figure out how to get past them. And then the last level is just a race against that crow from the first game. And it's basically dying and dying again until you figure out how to get through the fastest. And yeah, it's very tough. You still have limited continues. If I were to recommend one of the 2 for Earthworm Jim's games, it would be play the first one. Next up, we have Lester and the Unlikely. Beat this on February 20th. April 20th, 2025. I do not have when I started it, but a game I never played as a kid. This is the first time learning the game. It took me a long time to figure out how to play this game and how to get through it, because you only have so many lives. I like this game. It's more of an adventure type game where you almost like Flashback, but not as like strict as Flashback, where your character controls very deliberately, overly animated. He doesn't do much, as you can see. He's kind of like a nerd, and he like walks kind of weird. But as you go through the game, he gets more confidence and he starts walking normally. Well, I guess I shouldn't say normally, or more straight, like not as awkward. And he doesn't get scared anymore. You see, he runs away when he gets scared. It's a very like adventure game. You got to figure, okay, what do I have to do to get through this, and what do I have to do to do this? And it's very trial and error. Learning how to do each part. It's an interesting game. Like here, you can see me try to get past these little gas parts. I will say it's an interesting game. I'm glad I played it, and it's one of those games where once you play it, you'll probably be able to beat it again without much trouble. Once you figure out what to do. You do get a sword here. You see he starts to like get more confident. He can sword fight. He doesn't walk with like a little art humper anymore. And yeah, I forget. I'm kind of going through because I forget who the last boss is actually. Yeah, sorry, I just want to see who the last boss is. I forget who it is. I don't know if there is a last boss. Oh, you just go in and you just save her. There is no last boss. There's like dynamite you just gotta explode. Or defuse. So that's it. That is Less to the Unlikely for Super Nintendo. Next up, on May 9th, 2025, I played through Bubble Bobble, 2 players with a friend here. We both played it. Took us like a day or so to get through Bubble. Maybe 2 days over 2 weekends, like Sundays, to get through Bubble Bobble 2-player. This is a game I never knew how to play, and I still don't know how to play it too great, but I get an understanding better about it. You want to get combos. You want to break the bubbles more by combos. So you want to like jump down and break a row of bubbles. That'll get you more points and stuff. But the thing with this game is to get the true ending, you got to beat it 2 players. And I never had anybody to play this with as a kid. I just play it like either I play it at a friend's house and we'd play a little bit and play something else, or we never actually sat down and did the good ending. But this time I did with my one friend. I'm glad that he wanted to do it too. So basically you go through 100 levels and you get to the last boss and you have to both be alive there and beat him. And the thing we did was we didn't realize that once you beat him the first time, you have to he gets in a bubble and you just jump on the bubble and pop him and you do it. We let him stay in the bubble and he gets to a phase 2 where he's even harder. And then we beat him that way, and then we did it. And then we realized, oh, we just have to pop the bubble when we do it. But if you get there without a 2-player, you can't rescue the people or something, the people that are kidnapped. And yeah, Bubble Bobble, still a cool game. I'm glad I finally beat this one. Next up on May 11th, I played through Star Fox on the SNES. This is a game I had as a kid. I don't think I haven't beat level 3 either. I only did 1 and 2 and never beat 3, or I haven't beaten 3 since I had the game. So yeah, here it is. This is my playthrough of levels 1, 2, and 3 on Star Fox. I love this game so much. And it's a cool game because if you can't get through level 2 or 3, there's level 1, and pretty much anybody can get through level 1. Level 1's the easiest, level 2's medium, and level 3's hard. But level 3 is quite hard. There's some parts in level 3 that are, a boss in particular, that's very hard. Man, this game is so good. My favorite Star Fox, I have to play through 64 on the N64 again to see how I like that, if I like that one as much. I don't know if I will, because there's parts in 64 I remember being like too openy. You got to fly all around and find stuff, which I wasn't a big fan of. But yeah, this game's great, man. Just the music, the look of it, I think it looks great. Just the simpleness of it. It's just action. It's like just shoot stuff, and Just looking at this game, man. Just a fabulous game. I'm not going to say much more about it because, I mean, you know about Star Fox. And here's my second loop here, or my second level 2. The bosses, you know, you got until you find out what to do, they're tough. Man, and loop 3, like, or state level 3 is, that is tough. Especially this one boss, if I can find him. Where's he's at? I think he's in this part. This boss right here is the bane of my existence. You have to hit these 6 little shiny things on the right and left there, but the aiming reticle does not hit it. So what I have to do is basically save bombs and just suicide into it and make sure I hit it with a bomb to take one or two out. Because hitting it with the blasters, even the upgraded blasters here, you see it's so hard to do. And that's the biggest sticking point of this game. That and the final boss, Andros, is different. He does warp into like a cat kind of looking boss. Where's he at? Yeah, he warps into like this thing and he fires more projectiles at it. But man, Star Fox is so good. If you haven't played Star Fox and only played 64, I'd give this one a shot. It's a lot more simple than 64, which I like. Next up, I've stuck with the shooters again. On July 2nd, I did a first time ever playing and first time playthrough, not ever playing, but first time ever playthrough of Life Force on the NES. I haven't beat a lot of shooters in my life. What better way to start with the NES? I beat this for the first time. It's fabulous. Very hard, especially the first few levels are very hard. The first level is, I'd say, one of the hardest in the game because there's stuff that comes out at you that you have to get basically without dying, or I just reset because I need all those power-ups to make the other levels easier. So basically when you die, you do lose I think you do lose your power-ups, but you can get your options back. And what I mean by options is like another like ball that rises above you that can shoot also when you shoot. So Life Force is not a long game, but it's very challenging, especially like stage 4 or something where you go through this fire part, and that's very hard. There's these arcs of fire that come up, and their area of hitting you is very large. And your reaction time has to be spot on to dodge it. And even then, if it's fast, sometimes you just get hit because you can't avoid it. This is another game I did beat with my friend, co-op. We both did it. Two players, no continues. We did it all one continue. And when we first played this, we were like, oh, how are we going to do this? But we just stuck with it. It took us probably a month of just playing it straight. And we finally got through 2-player Life Force. I wish I had footage of that, but I don't, unfortunately. Yeah, Life Force. If you never played Life Force, give it a shot. Here you can see my capture doesn't pick up my ship because it's like 30 frames per second and there's so much going on. But like there's like another you should see my ship as well, but you don't see it. But yeah, that's Life Force. We're getting to the end here. Next up, this was a good one. I had never played this game before in my life, or ever even heard of this game. A late NES game called Dragon Fighter. SoFall? Which I don't know what else they did, but this is I played this on my Analog Pocket started July 24th, and I beat it July 24th, so the same day, nice. Very fun game. Oh, man, I wish this game would have came out when I was buying NES games as a kid, because I think this came out when the Super Nintendo was out, and I was pretty much on to Super Nintendo at the time. But yeah, this game's fun. I mean, it is hard, but it controls deliberately like a lot of NES games. You got to get used to the controls, but once you do, you can pretty much go through it pretty easily. It's still hard, but I'm not going to say it's easy, but it gets easier. So basically the thing about this game is you play as this guy here, and you see that little meter right here. As that raises, you kill enemies, that raises, then you hit up and A, and you'll turn into like a dragon, and you can fly, and it turns into like an auto-scroller, where the screen scrolls, and here I turn into one, and depending on what color weapon you have, the dragon will do different things. So this is like a spread shot, There's also one that does like a, see if I can show one. So here's the blue dragon here. I have blue. This kind of reminds me of like a Castlevania level. Kind of cool. There's like a red dragon you can have. Well, I wish I would turn into a dragon here so you could see it. So here I turn into the blue dragon on this boss here, and you can like basically have to use the dragon to beat the bosses, and it makes, if you're in a tough spot, so you want to kill stuff to get a dragon meter, and then you can use the dragon meter to make the game easier, so you can like blow away enemies. Especially in this one stage, you want to use the dragon very liberally, but you want to kill stuff as well to have a bigger dragon meter. You do gain more life as you go through. You see here, my life bar gets longer. Very fun game. I do recommend it. Like this is the kind of game like for NES I just love. A game I never heard of, never played, and it's just once I start playing it, I like just get into it, and that's all I want to play. I mean, I think it looks good. I mean, I liked NES did a lot of black backgrounds that really give it like a cool like shadowing and stuff, cool atmosphere. And then late NES game, this is like they did a real good job with this. And this is a stage here where you want to kill stuff, and if I can kill stuff and get my dragon meter up, you use your dragon, and it makes these enemies a lot easier to deal with. This is like the foot from Snake Rattle and Roll. Yeah, I'd say that's the hardest level in the game. And then you turn into like a dragon here, and you just do. This is the only actual shooting stage, horizontal shooter in the game. And I'm going to spoil the last boss for you. And look at this sprite. That is like a cool looking sprite for a last boss. Whoops. That is just cool. Yeah, Dragon Fighter, I highly recommend it. Very good game. Next up, another game I never heard of. Swordmaster for the NES, also for the NES. I played it on my EverDrive. This was played on July 27th. I beat it July 28th. Oh boy, this game, when you first play it, it doesn't leave the best impression. Like, you get hit constantly. The moves don't seem to work. But there's a deliberateness to it that I like about NES games. You got to learn how to play it. Like any game, you got to learn how to play it. And once it clicks, it's very addicting, like the best games are. The music's great. The graphics, I think, are great. This is like the follow-up to another NES game, which I forget the name of it. I forget the name of it, but it's not as good. I played it a little bit. But this one, like almost like a... I've never played Dark Souls, and I don't want to compare it, but it's very deliberate in its movement. It's almost like if Dark Souls, I guess. No, I don't know if I can compare, because I never played Dark Souls, so I don't know. But, like, seeing me play it here, it looks easier than it is. Because when you first play this game, everything hits you, because there's a timing to it, and you have, like, you can do different moves with the control pad, and each enemy is like, you got to fight a different way. Like, if you just go up to that guy, there's like a jump and overhead swing, you got to learn it. Almost like Zelda 2, where you can come down on the enemy and hit them. But this guy's a lot harder than he looks, because if you just go mano a mano, he'll, like, kill you. But it just looks so good. It sounds good. These wizards are a pain. And each enemy has its own tells and patterns that you got to learn out, and the best way to fight them. And part of the fun is learning that and getting better and figuring, okay, how do I fight this guy? And I figured the best way to do it was do this little jump in, hit him, jump back, because he will tear you up, like one-on-one. So it's like learning all those different moves. It has like a map like Ghouls and Ghosts, Castlevania 4. You have like this jump that's... Can I find out where it's at? You have this jump here where you kind of like fall off the... If you fall off a platform, you can jump again while you're falling and jump higher. So I'll show it in this stage, and you have to learn how to do that. And once you learn how to do it, it makes this stage here in particular a lot easier. Because this is a very tough stage if you don't know that. And the game never explains that to you. I did read the manual, they said something about it, but I was just jumping around and I figured it out. So basically, where's it at? Yeah, right here. Yeah, right here. See, so what I'll do is I'll run off the platform and I'll jump. So that's, if you just jump normally, you'll hit that guy. But if you run off the platform, you can jump while you're falling. And that's a trick you got to do this part. Which, until you learn that, it's very hard. So there's stuff like that you got to learn. Dragon Fighter, great, or I'm sorry, Dragon Fighter and Swordmaster. Swordmaster here is a great game. Just a super, and one of those boss. This boss reminds me of Tanzra from ActRaiser 2. It gave me very ActRaiser 2 vibes. So see here, you got to learn the pattern. Hit him once, and then you can duck and use your sword, your shield. I didn't do it there. You use your shield to like block his stuff. You got to kind of pick your times to hit him. Yeah, very fun game. I highly recommend both this game and Dragon Fighter, but they're not easy, but you can do it if you put your mind to it and play it. You'll eventually get it. So sorry, I was talking about those a lot. Another NES game I never played, never even heard about. This is Rollergames. I don't have this game, so I played it on my Analog Pocket. Started July 29th, and I beat it July 29th. Rollergames is by Konami Ultra. Is a roller skating beat 'em up based on a TV show in the 80s, 90s, I want to say. And if that sounds weird, well, it is weird, but it kind of works. So it plays like, see here, you have 3 people to pick. I picked the big fat guy because he has a lot of beef, and I kind of like how he looked like. I want to play as a fat hero. A big chunky hero. Like, there's too many like fit heroes. So, I want to play as the guy who's like, has some heft to him. So basically here you see there's parts where enemies come in. You can like just beat them up and then you go to the next area. The fighting is fun, but it's not like anything like overly complicated. You have a punch, you have a jump kick, you have a special. Each character has a different special, and the special does a lot of damage, but you can only use it to those 3 blocks at the bottom there. You can only use it that many times. You have a time limit, but once you learn the levels, you can get through it. It never really comes into play because you end up dying usually before you learn the level, and the time never runs out. But this is the hardest part, learning what to do on each level, and every character controls differently. Like the big guy here is a lot slower, but he has a lot of power in his punches. There's a medium guy, kind of average speed, average power, and then there's a fast one, weaker power, faster speed. And each one controls different too, so you can basically do a different playthrough with each character. And here's a boss here. So you want to wait for him to tire out, hit him with your special there. That's what I did. There's a stage here where they're kind of have to learn where to go and where to jump here to avoid like this helicopter dropping stuff down. Yeah, just a cool game. Yeah, that's Rollergames on NES. Kind of a short game, but man, it took me a lot to beat because you just got to learn the controls and learn the level layouts. Just like any game, you learn it, and if you want to play it, you'll get better at it, and you'll eventually beat it. Yeah, if you haven't played Rollergames, you like NES games, give it a shot. Next up on August 2nd, I played through Zen Intergalactic Ninja on the NES. This was a game I actually beat, and then the next month, or the same summer, or this summer, after I beat it this summer, I found a copy at the game store near me, so I picked it up. And this is a fun game. I never played this. This is a Konami game, very late NES game, based on a comic book, I think, of the same name. Basically, think Captain Planet, but more of a superhero, like not as a lame superhero. So each stage has you can basically pick any stage at once. Here, the first stage I pick is this isometric bomb planting stage. So you're planting these bombs, and you got to run to the end before the timer runs out. You see here, like it's very cool looking, huh? There's not a lot of NES games that look like this. You do have different moves, like you saw right there. I kind of threw the guy around, and I had to read the instruction manual to learn, oh, why am I taking so much damage here? But you can basically hold right and then hold it, and you'll like grab somebody and you'll fling them around, or you'll slam them on the ground. You have to do that on some bosses and some parts to make it a lot easier. See, the jumping here is very... It looks hard, and it is kind of tricky, but it's very forgiving. You can do this spin in the air that'll like... Almost like, you know, in New Super Mario Brothers, where you'll do a little twirl to allow you to stay in the air a little bit more. That's almost like this. Each stage is like... This is almost like I was talking about... what's the game? Like Battletoads and Earthworm Jim. Each level has its own like gimmick you got to figure out, and this is like that. So you see, the first level I picked is like that. There's a bonus stage here where you get you can if you got knock the stuff into the furnace, and if you get it so many of a different kind, you see the bottom there. I'm knocking them into the furnace, the garbage. You get like a health upgrade, a shield, and extra life and stuff like that. So you want these are really important to get. So you get a bonus, you get ultra intensive meditation, a shield, player 1-up, and life max. Life max and shield are the important ones, if you can get them. And here's a stage select. So it's not a long game, you see here. Here's another auto-scroller, like a minecart section. This boss took me forever to figure out. So, see the meditation there is a heal, a full heal. You have your lives here, and then these are your full heals. So they give you a full heals throughout the level you can find. You can also win them from the bonus games. So what I was saying, this guy took me forever to do. I didn't know you could duck. So if you hold your attack button, you'll duck in the ground. So I was not ducking, and he was just hitting me. I couldn't avoid it. But I figured you could duck and avoid his projectiles. That made it very doable. So it's just learning the game. So this level, you gotta like beat these, like save these flowers from the acid rain, and you jump up here and you beat the boss, jump down, save the flowers, do the same. Because the rain, when the acid rain hurts you, so you gotta like do it fast. And you see the flower meter at the top. Once the flowers are done, then the rain starts hurting you more. So you gotta go save the flowers, then jump up and fight the boss. Yeah, it's just cool game. Looks great. Cool variety of playing. Yeah, it's just a cool game. There's a hard mode and a normal mode. I think I did it on normal, then I did it on hard once. This level is hard. I still don't know this level too well. You got to fall down and avoid these platforms, and there's this crusher at the top crushing you. I think this is one of the hardest levels in the game for me, because this takes where most of my deaths come from. Yeah, just a cool game. You fight yourself. That's like a clone of yourself. And then here's the last boss. He has a second form where you gotta fight him and then knock the asteroids down, and they're going towards the planet. Yeah, fun game. Highly recommend all 3 of these NES games I talked about. Dragon Fighter, Sword Master, and Rollergames, and Zen. So 4. Next up, on August 11th, I started, and August 15th, I beat. This is Abadox, the Deadly Inner War, published by Milton Bradley. Who developed this? Natsume, okay. Natsume makes good stuff. Yeah, another shoot 'em up, which is rare for me. This is such a cool looking one. Basically, you're going inside of an alien planet life form, like Life Force. So it's funny, I did Life Force and Abadox. So you see here, he zooms into the planet. And this is a game where you really don't want to die. If you die, you lose all your power ups. And the levels, if you die with and you lose all your power ups in the middle of a level in a late level, there's so much stuff flying at you that you might as well just reset. You can get through it, but you have to memorize like the best position to go and fly to. And it's very hard. For that reason, I don't recommend this one as much as like. I guess if you'd like that kind of, I shouldn't say I don't recommend it. I would say know what you're in for. If you like shooters, and you like shooters that give you a good challenge, this one will do that because you've got to learn the levels. You have to learn where the power ups are, and you don't want to die. So when I did play through it, I did die a few times, and I was able to recover, but man, is it hard to recover in this game. Of any shooter I played, and I haven't played a lot, you really don't want to die on this one. But the bosses are surprisingly easy. You can stand in certain spots and just wail on them. And you see the cool look. There's like, so instead of going, so there's side views, then you go down. So you're going down into the body. So you see here, I'm going, instead of going vertically up, you go down. It's the only vertical shooter I know that you go down instead of up. So you see that thing spinning around me as a shield. The missiles you have, almost like Life Force. And then you have a different weapons. I have the laser here, which is only in the top-down levels. Those little ghosts floating at you are your power-ups. So if you die here, it's so hard to recover. And the flashing is like, I forget what the flashing is. It's like you can take an extra hit, I think. And here's the boss. It's like some kind of eye thing, intestinal thing. Just such a cool game. Such a cool looking game. Back to a vertical shooter or horizontal shooter. Use my continue there. Yeah, I must be getting to the last stages here. Oh, and yeah, when you beat the boss, you have to fly through. Almost like this and Life Force are very similar. It's funny that I beat these the same year, because they're very similar in tone. You got an escape section at the end. They're very hard, but they're such a cool theme. Yeah, the bosses in this game. Can I show one boss here? I want to show a boss. Look at these boss. Look at this boss. It's so cool. But yeah, enough about Abadox. Cool game. Glad I finished it. Very hard though. Man, was it hard. Next up, on August 24th, I started. August 31st, I beat. Which is funny because this game. Here's my playthrough of it. It's only 5 minutes long. So when you know what to do, it's still it's hard, but it's a short game. This is Marble Madness on NES, another game I rented as a kid, and the music, much like the music of Shadowgate, this music is so good. It's just stuck in my mind, very nostalgic. You see, basically you're a ball, and you got to like roll to the end, and you want to keep do it as fast as possible because your time carries over. And if you do it, if you have so much time remaining, you'll get more time at the beginning of the level. So you want to have a lot of time going into those last harder levels. It's a short game. It's only like 5 or 6 stages, but it's very hard to learn what to do. So you got to play it a lot. When you die, you get penalized. If you do get this magic wand that comes and gives you extra time sometimes, but that's totally random. You can't really depend on it. I did play, my one friend I beat Bubble Bobble with. We did play through this. So he wanted to play this game. Because I was like, what should we play? And he's like, Marble Madness. I used to play that. So he's the one who wanted to do this. So shout outs to my friend Ryan for wanting to play this. And then once I was playing it, I was like, I want to play this too. It's kind of fun. You can go through some of the other levels here. That part's tough because you got to get through all the, like, those hammers and stuff that knock you off. And that's it. That's Marble Madness. Fun game. Next up, on September 20th, I played through Shinobi 2, The Silent Fury on the Game Gear, Sega Game Gear. I played this on my Analog Pocket. This is GG Shinobi 2. I liked the original GG Shinobi on Game Gear, so I wanted to play this one. I played the first one maybe last year or something. Fun game. I might like the first one a little bit better just because, I don't know, maybe because I knew what to expect going into this one, so the coolness wasn't as apparent, but as this one. So this is basically like the first one, but just more of the first one. What can I say? So each ninja, you go to each level, you can pick your 4 stages. Each stage has a ninja that you got to rescue, and once you beat the boss, get the ninja, you can use that ninja, and each ninja has a different ability. There's like a red one, a green one, a yellow one, a blue one, and I forget what they do. This one here has like a swinging rope here you can use. See this pink one? You can climb on walls or climb on ceilings. So you see here, here's what I do. See, I beat the boss here. And once you beat the boss of each area, you'll save the ninja. So you start out as red. Red's just like the normal ninja. And then you get you get a ninja you can use. You have to find the crystals. The crystals are sometimes hidden in places you can't get until you get a ninja. And then here's your stage select. So the key to this game is figuring what's the best order to play the games to get the power-ups, to fight the bosses. Because if you save a ninja, it'll make a certain stage easier. And it's figuring out, okay, which order should I go in to get make it easier. So for example, if you have the pink ninja here, you can just climb on the walls here and make this part a lot easier. And here it's a green ninja. Saved him. Got the yellow ninja. The green ninja throws shurikens, which makes this boss a lot easier. You don't have to get up close to him. So it's good to fight him. Yeah, just a cool game. It's Shinobi basically with just like Mega Man leveled selects and then a little bit of Metroidvania in it, but not a lot. So yeah, the Game Gear Shinobis, the first ones like this, they're pretty decent games. Next up, on October 5th, I beat on my Analog Pocket another game I don't have, so I played it emulation. Jetsons Cogswell Caper, developed by, is this Taito? Is that what it said? Taito, yeah, another Taito game. 1992. Oh boy, this game is hard. Very hard. Yeah, this is I would say this game's hard, but it's like a hardness that's not the type of hardness I enjoy. A lot of this game, I feel like the main problem with this game is the knockback when you get hit. There's a big time where you can't do anything, and if you're on a conveyor belt and you get hit, you'll just stand there and like jump back, and you're slowly falling off into the pit, and it's just so frustrating. This game is more frustrating than a lot of hard games. I still enjoyed it, but not Taito's best. Basically, like Chip and Dale's, you want to pick up and throw these boxes. You get like 1-ups and stuff, and pills here are for your gadgets you get. So during the game, each one of the Jetsons family members will give you, or you'll go to a stage where they'll tell you about a gadget you get. So right here, this is the first level. I don't have a gadget right now. this first boss is like insanely hard for what it is. You think, okay, I just got to pick up the box, walk, and throw it at him, but you're on a conveyor belt, and if you get hit by his little things, you'll just there's no time. You'll just fall off into the pit. See, like there. If you're any closer, I would have fell off the edge. And it's just that's the main problem with this game is the hit. When you get hit, I don't mind knockback, but let me be able to control myself and not be like incapacitated for like a second and a half or something. So here, I met Elroy. I think. Yeah, this is the stage where I meet Elroy. Oh no, Astro gives me the item here. Astro gives me this. I can move items with my remote control. So basically you have this like frisbee that you can use here, and I'll use it here on this level here. So you see that down here? I'll probably do it here. This is the level 3 boss. You want to throw these boxes at him. So here I switch to that. And then I can, here's your like, it looks like a Wii U tablet, but I switch to that and it's like a little disc. It gives you a projectile. So you want to have pills to use these things. And each character gives you one of those. This guy's hard too. I was like, until you figure out, oh, I just have to duck and he goes right over my head. Because otherwise you can't avoid him. Yeah, this game, I still enjoyed it, but man, does it have problems. And there's Cogswell. Yeah. Okay, I don't really recommend this one, but it's if you want to play, if you're trying to play NES games you haven't played before, give it a shot. Next up, I started 10:30. I beat this 11:20. So I put a lot of time into Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D remake. This is Dragon Quest 1 I beat first, HD2D remake. This is the only Switch game I beat this year. It's basically a remake of Dragon Quest 1. And almost remake is kind of too generous of a term. It's almost like a different game. They added so much story to it, so many more weapons, much more armor, so many more moves. They added crests you can get to give you super moves, supreme moves. It's almost a different game. This doesn't replace the first Dragon Quest. It's different enough that you can play, hey, I want to play Dragon Quest. Maybe I'll play the first one on Game Boy. Maybe I'll play the first one on NES. Maybe I'll play the first one on the mobile. There's a mobile version. I'll play the Switch version. Maybe I'll play that version. Like, it doesn't replace those versions. It's just totally different. And I like that. I like that it's not a straight remake. It's different enough that it's a different experience. So they add a lot more story. When the game starts completely different, you don't start out in the king's throne room. You start out, you see the queen's guards who have failed in protecting her coming back to Tantagel, and they're ambushed by monsters. And then you come in and you save the day. And they ask who you are. You say you're a descendant of Erdrick. And then they take you to the king. You introduce yourself, and then you go on your quest. And throughout the whole game, you run into those guards. You run into these fake heroes. And then there's story with them. You run into fairies and dwarves. They tell you about these crests that you get, and you make the crests from this game that go on to Dragon Quest 2. And the crests give you an ability when you're buffed up with certain abilities. I think it's Focus Pocus in this one. You can do super moves by holding down the Y button over a move, and you'll do, like, for example, if you do a Undead Doer, which is a special sword ability you get, you'll do like a Pearly Gates move from Dragon Quest 11 or whatever. You'll do like certain abilities have super power ups that are the key to getting through this game. and especially enemies, because there's not one enemy anymore. You fight multiple enemies, and to do this, they give you different like whips and boomerangs that hit everything. But the key is to use your spells. So you have spells that hit everything, spells that hit groups, and your super abilities like do a lot of damage. So you want to use those. And the only way to use those, is when you're buffed up with like a certain ability. I think it's either reheal or focus pocus. I forget right now which one is. Otherwise, you got to wait till you're below 50% HP, which is a bad thing because my main gripe with this game is they don't really explain that the crest system well enough until the end of the game, when you probably need it the most, but you needed it in the earlier game because some of the bosses, they had a lot more bosses in this game, and some of the bosses are very hard, very, very hard. And it's a lot easier if you know, hey, if I buff myself with this certain ability, I can use these abilities liberally instead of waiting till I'm at 50% health. It's my only gripe with the game. Explaining that system better, I think, would have been better. Better would have been better. But other than that, it's fantastic. I highly recommend this game if you want to play Dragon Quest. But it also came with Dragon Quest II HD2 Remake. And as much as I like Dragon Quest 1 HD2 Remake, the changes they did to that were a lot. They did a lot to that game. I'm glad they kept it single player, by the way, on the first one. I like that it's a single player. Dragon Quest 2 is definitely a completely different game. They added so much to this game. They added a fourth character there. You see in the middle there, the Princess of Canik, Prince of Canik's sister. They added a whole underwater section, which is awesome. They added so much more story, so much more character interaction, and the characters in this game, the way they fleshed out the prince, the princess, the Prince of Canik, the Princess of Canik, the Princess of Moonbrook, especially the Princess of Moonbrook, they did an excellent job on this game. They give these characters personality. The voice acting is great. There's parts of this game that really hit hard. And at the end, I got a little tear at the end in certain parts of this game. Amazing what they did with this game, because I've always liked Dragon Quest II. And I'm so glad that they took Dragon Quest II from... Oh, yeah, people always saying, oh, it's the one that you don't need to play. I think with this version, you do need to play this one. They did a great job on this. This is a fantastic game. I can't say enough. The crest system, they explained how the crests were made. So if you don't know, in Dragon Quest 2, you have crests you got to get. They're your MacGuffins or your items you got to get to beat to finish the game. In this game, in the first Dragon Quest, they explained how the hero made the crests. He made them by finding ingredients, giving to the fairies, and they made the crests. And basically, you make the crest in the first game, in the HD 2D remake, to resurrect Rubis, or wake her up from her sleep. In this one, at the end of Dragon Quest 1, then she takes the crests and she hides them away. Or you give them to Rubis. And in this one, it picks up, you find out you have to find those same crests, and you still have the same super abilities you got to use. And my same gripe with the first one, they don't really explain each character here. You see Princess of Canik, Prince of Canik, Prince of Moonbrook, or Princess of Moonbrook, and Prince of Middenhall, all have a certain buff that will give them access to these super abilities with the crests. So they don't explain until the very, 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 very end of the game that, hey, these are the buffs you need. If you haven't realized it, you don't have to be at 50% health. If you use, for example, Reheal on Prince of Canik, he'll have access to his certain moves. If you use Dodgy Dance on him, he'll have access to his other certain moves that you can use by holding Y over top of them. And these moves are very powerful, and they allow you to take down the bosses pretty easily, at lower levels even. So I think that's a mistake on their part to not explain. They explained during the game that, hey, you don't have to be at 50% health to use these moves. Just try out different things. Like maybe you'll experience, hey, this is what causes it, but they don't explain what buffs work on characters to access those super moves until almost like you beat the last boss, the post-game boss or something. And that's the biggest fault. I think that's not right. I think they should explain the system, the crest system, better to the players. That's my main gripe with the game. Otherwise, everything about these remakes is great. They're different enough that they bring it up to like modern standards. They have like difficulty options if you can turn on at any time. They have waypoint markers that if you don't want to know if you don't know where to go, you turn them on and it shows you where to go. Stuff that'll help players like, hey, I need a little help here. Help me. Where do I go? What do I do? They have help, which is always a good thing. Lots of more weapons here you can see. Here I'm going through the Cave to Roan, or Cave to Renderak in this version. Magic is very much... I love what they did with magic in this game, because you get like armor that cuts your MP usage by half, and then you can get another item that cuts it by a quarter. So you can just spam your magic without worrying about conserving MP. And almost the first game, when you get to the end, I'm talking about the first game, it's better to use magic and with that stuff equipped, because you'll just blast through these caves no problem. Because if you're just using magic and you have like meteorite bracelets equipped, you'll go first and you'll just wreck everything, like they won't even get a chance. And the magic, I love what they did with the magics in this game. They made magic so much more usable. Like usually in Dragon Quest, I go through a cave, I conserve my magic, and then at the boss I'd use it. But here you can just use it if you're equipped right. Like the right armor in these games will almost give you a different build. Like you can have a magic build where you have armor that reduces MP. Your defense suffers, but you'll be able to you give yourself more agility, you give yourself more MP, and you can just use your most powerful spells and blow everything away before it has a chance to react. They have items that restore your MP when you walk, which is great. They bring those back. The Happy Hats, which do that, they brought those back. They have duplicates, which echo your spell. So you give those to a character, and they'll cast a spell, and then they'll cast it again without MP. It'll just echo. That's great. And the key to this game, there's so much you can do. The simpleness of just using those different, and you can equip in the menu too. You can have stuff in your on your person, and just, I need this sword for this part. I need to put my magic stuff on, so I can just cast magic here. I need a little more need less MP to use, so I'll put on this madcaps that'll quarter my MP usage just for this spell. Maybe I want to cast Omni Heal, but I don't want to use 62 MP. I want to put the madcap on and only use like 30 some or something. You can do that. They added the Peep spell. They added the Snoop spell to tell you exactly how many treasures are on one screen, and they added Snoop, which exactly lights up where it's at, so you don't have to search everywhere. I love the little spots that you go in that you don't have to buy equipment at all in this game. There's the spots in this game. If you search the area, they'll give you so much equipment that the best stuff is usually found. That you don't have to. You don't have to buy equipment in the store. You can find stuff out in the world to equip yourself. So that cuts down on a lot of grinding for gold and stuff. They added reheals on level ups, so that's another thing. If you're in a cave, usually in Dragon Quest you have to zoom out when you're low on MP. On this, if you can see how much experience you need to get to the end of a level, and I'm only 20 away. Well, I'm low on MP, but if I can beat this next fight, I'll get a full MP heal, and that's great. I don't have to leave. Now all this stuff can be turned off if you want to make it difficult, and I did that. I played through each of these games 3 times. I played through 1 and 2 both on normal twice, and I played 1 and 2 both on Draconian, the hardest mode, with the MP and HP healed on level up turned off, and each time it was a joy to play. I highly recommend these games. They did a great job. I went off enough. I'm going to cut off there, but yeah, great games. Great job, guys. Great job, Hori and team and Enix on that game. And the last game I beat, and we're up to date, December 20th, 2025, and I beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo. And so I wasn't going to write this one down, but I wasn't going to put this, because I beat this before, but only on normal. This playthrough here is on normal too, but I wanted to beat it on professional, so it took me a while, but I finally did beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts on professional difficulty. Finally. I love this game. I love the one on Genesis. I've only beat that one on practice, though. I should try actually beat that one on harder. I love the new one. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection is excellent. I love that game. I like the NES one. But Super Ghouls and Ghosts is probably my favorite at the moment. Resurrection I want to replay. That might boost it up. Great game. I love the look of this game. I love the sound of this game. I never get frustrated at this game. It's hard, yes, but you can get through it. I will say Professional wasn't that hard until the last boss, and the last boss was where most of my time went. I've run out of continues on the last boss. I had to replay it. The fact that you can beat him fine with any other weapon, like to stay away from him, just shoot him. But you have to beat the boss with the Goddess Bracelet on Professional, and you have to get up close and personal on him, and you get more damage, deal more damage with the Goddess Bracelet if you're closer to him, so you want to be closer to him. But he fires faster. He'll get you in a situation where you're jumping, and he'll fire, and you can't jump out of the way, and you'll just get hit. And then when you get hit and you don't have the gold armor anymore, your bracelet doesn't shoot as far. So it took me quite a long time to beat that last boss. But man, what a accomplishment to beat that. When I finally did, I was so happy. So yeah, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I don't have to say much more about this game. I mean, just look at it. You know if you like this game. You might not like these kind of games, but this game, it just ticks. It's just the kind of game I like. It's like hard, but you get better at it, and it's just so enjoyable. I'm so glad I played through this one again, because I was like, do I want to play it? I feel like playing Ghouls and Ghosts. Do I play Resurrection or do I play this? And I was like, well, I never beat Professional on this, so maybe I'll give that a shot. And yeah, I'm glad I did. But that's everything. That's everything I've beaten last year. That's it. That's my games I played for 2025. Good list of games. I would say out of these games, the ones that I like the most, probably Super Punch-Out. Out of ones I beat the first time, Super Punch-Out definitely. Star Fox is up there. I don't think I ever beat the third path. That's up there. The NES games, Dragon Fighter, Swordmaster, Rollergames, all great. Zen Intergalactic Ninja, great. Earthworm Jim, great. I would say I would give it to probably Super Punch-Out for me this year. That's the game that I really had a joy playing and learning everything. So that's it. Everybody have a great 2026. Sorry it's long video, but have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.